The Obama administration may be shifting tactics in its approach to dealing with Egypt's embattled president. Speaking from the White House yesterday, President Obama suggested Hosni Mubarak should consider how history will remember him.
The key question he should be asking himself is, how do I leave a legacy behind in which Egypt is able to get through this transformative period? My hope is that he will end up making the right decision.
Let's bring in NBC News White House correspondent Mike Vaquera. Good Saturday morning to you, Mike.
Morning, Alex.
So President Obama described Egypt's president as proud, referred to him as a patriot. What's behind that message?
Well, the administration from the president on down has been eager to knock down the perception that they are calling the shots in any way, shape, or form in Egypt, even as they have these high-level president-to-president, military-to-military, minister-to-minister contacts with the United States. If it isn't clear to anybody by now, it's obviously true. The United States is not driving this train. They are, to a certain degree, sitting and watching events unfold like we all are. And as Richard described, largely this is being driven by those protesters, the population of Egypt out in that Central Square in Cairo. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton is in Munich today at a security conference. She talks about focusing on the vice president, the newly installed vice president of Egypt. His name, of course, is Omar Suleiman, for him to lead a transition heading into those September elections. Now, President Hosni Mubarak, of course, has already said that he will not stand for election. He will not put himself forward as a candidate in September. But there's a sense here the administration wants him to leave sooner than that, and that is part of what's going on here. They don't want to call them negotiations, but discussions between the Western powers led by the United States and President Mubarak and those around him in Egypt. Secretary of State Clinton was at that conference. She had some very circumspect but very telling comments. If you listen very closely, let's have a listen.
That it be a transparent, inclusive process that sets forth concrete steps that people who are engaged in it and looking at it can believe is moving toward an outcome that will permit an orderly establishment of the elections that are scheduled for September.
Now, Alex, on MSNBC this morning, we've been very careful. At that same conference, she was asked by the moderator of that conference to comment on a report that Omar Suleiman, the vice president we were just talking about, had been subject to an assassination attempt some 4 days ago. Now, she was reacting to that, was Secretary of State Clinton, when she said this only emphasizes the need for an orderly transition. She also pointed to reports of an oil gas explosion or an oil well or pipeline facility explosion in Egypt today, later claimed by the Egyptian government to be the result of some leaks, some gas leakage there at that facility. The Egyptian government also today strongly knocking down this report on other networks and in other news organizations that there was an assassination attempt on Vice President Suleiman. So that's been out there, but we just wanted to mention it today, what was going on behind the scenes, Alex.
Yeah, we appreciate that. You know, suffice it to say, Mike, it's always a very fluid situation, situations like this. Okay, Mike from the White House, thanks much.
Okay.